Hey guys, Dan and Sally, welcome back to our channel. We wanted to talk about the brand new Sony 24mm F1.4. Now this is a pretty incredible lens. Sony did a great job with creating this particular lens. We're gonna go over some of the things, to see if this is a right fit for you, image quality, basically build. So let's get right into it. I think one of the coolest features about this lens is definitely its compact and lightweight mobility. It's definitely a great lens to have in your arsenal if you're not looking for something that's bulky. And as a wedding photographer, I definitely appreciate that. It is only 445 grams.
Yeah, so one of the things that's making it kind of that compact is going to be that there's actually two XA elements inside of this. Now the big one is actually on the front, so the very first element is that XA element, and that's kind of keeping that design a little bit small. Now we still do have weather sealing on this, which we would expect from any of the high-end lenses on this, and we also do have a customizable button on the lens that you can program to trigger basically anything that you want on the camera. When it comes to sharpness, you're gonna find that this thing is just downright absolutely sharp at f1.4 in the center. It was great. I had no issue shooting it this way. Even pumping it up at like f2 barely made a difference on that. Now in the corners, it does get a little bit softer, not a whole lot. At f1.4, it was just a little bit soft, and then by the time I got to f2.8, that thing is dead tack sharp. So yeah, really, really nice.
Definitely, like zooming in during my portraits with some of the models, I mean, the eye was always in focus, especially with Sony's eye autofocus. It was able to follow that really, really well. Let's also talk about flare. Given in my photography, I do love a little bit of flare, but as you can see in this image, you can see that there is a little bit too much flare catching on her eyebrow, and I would definitely want to edit that out in the end.
Yeah, I did find that flare was almost a little bit cinematic in a way. It was very horizontal. It had some tones to it, like blue, green, magenta, depending on the image that I was taking. And so it was just kind of interesting how it reacted. It was probably a little more than I would like.
Now, Sony did put the new XD motor that is found in their 400mm, and it's very fast, very accurate, and it does have impact on video.
Yeah, that XD motor is going to mean that you pretty much have no focus breathing at all when you're using this. And if you do want to use manual focus, it is much more linear in this lens. And really, this is a great lens for video because it's so small and light. I had it on a gimbal. It is really nice for that one. And then also because we can actually declick the aperture on this one as well, you can really get some nice smooth transitions when you're changing your aperture. Overall, it's just an amazing lens for video.
So even though the max aperture on this lens is f1.4, the minimum is f16. But if you do like shooting sunburst photography, I found at f16 we were getting some pretty great images.
Yeah, it looked really good. Now, big for this lens is going to be astrophotography. You got the right focal length, super wide aperture lens, not a whole lot of distortion on this. I actually pushed it quite a bit. Sagittal coma flare is actually very well controlled in this. While we didn't shoot astro, I did have some major lights in this shot right here, and you can see it's really well controlled. You're getting no flare or ghosting or anything else off of these lights, and that says a whole lot on a lens like this.
Now, when you think of 24 millimeters, I don't think your mind automatically goes to shooting portraits with it, but I have to say it was an incredible lens for portraits. I shoot with my 24 to 70 G Master, and I find that a lot of the images that are coming out of my camera are at 24 millimeters. It is nice though, with this prime lens, that you get it at 1.4. So you get that beautiful background blur that comes with a prime lens, and I loved it. Now, the bokeh was amazing on this lens.
Yeah, it actually looked pretty good. It's a little strong, which we normally get from very sharp lenses, but it was overall very pleasing, had no issues with it at all. And then for landscapes too, 24mm is kind of in that awkward stage between something a little bit wider and then getting in a little bit closer, but it worked out pretty well. I was able to shoot quite a bit with it, and overall I kind of like the results.
Yeah. Now, the pricing of this particular lens is going to be at $13.99 for us, and if you're in beautiful Canada, it'll be $18.99 for you. It will be released in October. Now, value of this lens, okay? I do have to say, as a wedding photographer, would I purchase and invest in a 24mm f1.4? Absolutely. I shoot, like I said, a lot at 24mm when I'm shooting the bride getting ready or the groom getting ready, and that f1.4, those two stops do make a difference to me.
Yeah, I mean, if you're shooting in low light, you're talking about lowering your ISO potentially from like 6400 all the way down to 1600, and that can make a huge impact on your image quality. Now, if you're not shooting portraits, landscapes are kind of an interesting thing. Most of the time you're shooting it closer to like f8 or f11, maybe even f16. You're not going to see a huge difference in image quality between this and something like the 16 to 35. What you will see is some of that flare reduction, a little bit nicer in the corners, a little bit less in distortion with this prime lens. So there could be some value for you. It just is kind of weighing those trade-offs. Now, on the portrait side, if you guys think the 24 might be a little bit wide for you, we do have a video showing 35, 50mm, and 85. We compared all those focal lengths. So check out that video right there. But thanks so much for watching, guys. Please like, subscribe. Hey, check us out on Instagram at Learning Cameras, Miss Sally Watson. Check that out. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you in a little bit.